Amy, thank you so much for speaking with me today about Holy Disruptor. Now, this book, it was deep. It had some heavy themes. I cried when I read it multiple times. Why was this the right time for you to share your story in this way?
I think after the whole Josh's scandals and the heartbreaking news and the pain that came through it, I just educated myself, and I took time. I took a couple years of mental health breaks and just focused on that, and just took some time for myself. I think it's really important. I was asked to write a book 2 years ago, and I turned it down because I just wanted to focus on, just my life and peace and all of that. And so once I actually, felt like I did get the healing that I needed, I knew that my story could help someone.
And you talked about so many different things in this book. You talked about your grandfather, you talked about your parents, you talked about your cousins. There was a lot of different heavy topics. Was there anything that you were nervous about opening up about?
I think I am nervous about every single chapter, to be honest. Just putting power to the words and making it known that this was my heart and these are the things that I struggled with is really hard to just be that brave and open. But I had to just get I don't know, I had to just let myself breathe and just be here's my story, and it's okay to share, and it's okay to share it, And then once I did, every interview that I have, I think it helps my confidence just a little more. So thank you.
Yes.
Seriously.
Now, have you talked to any of your family? Have any of your family members gotten the chance to read it yet? What have their reactions been like?
So Jill hasn't even read it yet.
Oh my gosh.
She's been so busy, and we haven't connected in a minute or two. And so she's very excited about it. I hope that my prayer is that some of my cousins will read it and kind of see my heart, see the things that I was struggling with, and kind of where I'm at now. Because I didn't write this book out of bitterness.
Yeah.
I
think that was evident.
Yes, well, thank you. Yeah, a lot of people, they haven't read it yet, so they have no idea of what's in the book. And so they're thinking that they know, but they're not ready. They're not ready for what's in it.
Now, I know you brought up your cousins. In the book, you wrote, I believe, that you were saying, if any of them are reading this, know that I'm here for you. Do you have any message you want to share for anyone who's within that family who maybe hasn't had a chance to speak with you or connect with you in a while?
Yeah, I would just tell them that I love them. I always have. I always will. And I would just tell them that my heart is in the right place, and that I'm always here, literally, no matter what it is, time, day or night, I'm always here for them.
And I also know that you just brought up Jill. Now, in the book, you talked about how your uncle Jim Bob asked you to reach out to Jill. He felt like maybe she was moving away from the family a bit. Can you talk about your friendship with Jill and where things stand with her today? Because I feel like she's also had a similar path to you, where she's spoken out about things within the family as well.
Right. Jill and I are so close. We share all kinds of stories. We've had a lot of heart-to-heart conversations, things that I'll never mention on camera that are just completely between the two of us. But she's an incredible, strong person. And I love our cousinship and just how much fun we have, and that our boys are growing up knowing each other, and it's healthy and happy and really good.
And do you have any relationships with anyone else in the family? I know Ginger has also, she wrote a book, she's spoken out about different things. Do you have any relationships with any of the other cousins that have been improving over the years?
Yeah, so Ginge and I keep in touch a little bit here and there. She's busy. We're all very busy. We've got a lot of things going on. I do wish her well, and, big hugs from far away. And as far as the other ones are concerned, as of right now, there is no contact. Boundaries are really important to me, and so I'm going to protect my peace as long as I need to. But if they ever question the IBLP, or they ever, really want to dive into who I am and just kind of have that relationship, I'm willing to talk and to listen and to invite them, into my world. I would love that.
I think that's great that you have that open door policy, and hopefully one day you're able to rekindle those friendships. Now, one thing you did talk about that was a very positive thing within the book is your relationship with your husband and how that started. What was his reaction when he read that chapter?
I think he really appreciated the fact that I included it in the book. Like I said off camera with you, he kind of saved me from a lot of abuse, a lot of manipulation, and a lot of just really emotional narcissistic tactics that were happening in the home. And he really did save me in so many ways. And so I'm really, really blessed to have such a good, faithful man that just loves me unconditionally.
And there was one passage that you wrote about where he embraced you after he overheard a conversation that you had. And that was a really hard thing, I feel like, as a reader to read. What was it like getting this like chapter of your life out on the page for others to read and maybe connect with a similar situation?
Right. I feel like a lot of us, especially in the dating world, or we're trying to figure out love and life and what does it look like. I wanted to include this into the book because it just shows that how much he wanted to keep me safe and how like I did feel so safe in his arms, and I still do 10 years later. You know, we are best friends, and I do believe that love is possible and that love can last as long as you have someone that's on your side and can be a team.
Yeah, I think that's beautiful.
Thank you.
And you also, in the book, someone you talked about a lot was your mother. On the theme of saving, it seems like you were really there to help save her. What has her reaction been like, and like, why did you want to share this story about your mom?
Good question. My mom and I have had our ups and downs, like I've talked about in the book. You know, she struggled with depression. There was a lot of hard moments, but I also believe that God is in the restoring business. And so I wanted to include those hard times as long with the happy times and the peaceful times that we have now. And it's kind of been full circle. She is supportive now. It took her a minute, you know, just to put power to the words and to let it be out for the world to know is hard. And so we both discussed it, and she was just like, you know what, I do think it could help a lot of people by sharing our story. And so she's on board with it, and we're a team, and she lives with us, and it's just so great. She's with Dax right now. They're at Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yes,
Chuck E. Cheese, that's so fun. Let's talk about a throwback.
Oh my word, yeah, he like lives there. He loves it so much.
Oh my gosh. You've also been outspoken about your cousin Josh. In the book, you wrote about the moment that you confronted him. Can you share more about what happened?
Yeah. Truth has always been really hard to find in my family. I was told a million different things that really didn't add up. And so for a long time, I just took what they said and went along with it, and that was the truth. And then I started questioning it, and I started analyzing it, and I started realizing that there's more to the story. There always is. And so for me, I just wanted answers, and I was going to find them one way or another. And I did confront him, and unfortunately I got the answer that I didn't want to hear. But I realized in that moment, the person I've spent so much time with, the person that I grew up with, the person I thought I knew, turned out to be like a complete lie.
Yeah. And in the book, you also mentioned how he and also a lot of the brothers were actually the family members that you related to more because they were more outspoken. So what was it like having that relationship with him and the brothers, and then having this like basically crumble when you find out this horrible thing that happened?
Yeah, I think because of everything that's happened, I'll be the first one to raise my hand and say I have had trust issues because you just don't know what's the truth.
Yeah.
You know, I believe in having people in my life that are genuine and true and honest, and you think you have that in a family setting, you know, and it's been really hard to disentangle and figure out, you know, who is real, who and what is the truth in my life.
Yeah.
And so I finally did that. And so, yeah. It was crazy to write about.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Despite what has happened with him going to prison, his wife has stuck by his side. Why do you believe that she's done that?
Unfortunately, I really don't have much to say other than the fact that I can't speak for Anna. I know what I would do differently.
Yeah.
I know I'd be packing my bags, and you know I'd be changing my life around, and I'd be getting some serious therapy. But that is something that I would do. But I can't speak for Anna.
Yeah. And you also talked about how Jim Bob and Michelle reacted when you were questioning them about what was going on. What do you think, like, looking back and seeing their reactions? You said Michelle, she was very, like, happy, like, she didn't really say much, and then Jim Bob just completely blew you off.
Yeah, I felt very dismissed when I had questions that would come up. Something felt really heavy inside of me, really hard to explain, but kind of when you know something is off, but you don't know what it is. It's in that moment where you're just like, am I crazy or what's going on? And it was like that. And I asked several times about several different things, and I was just completely dismissed.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, do you think that there's some hope that the family dynamic with your cousins could ever shift one day? Or what do you think about that?
Yeah, if it does shift, I think that will be wonderful and healthy. I think it's okay to question what you've been taught. I think it's okay to believe in your basic instincts. I believe that God made us who we are for a reason. And when something feels off and, your heart is in chaos, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why I had those questions for so many years and so many things that weren't adding up. And so, if things change and shift, I'm going to be right there.
Now, I also wanted to ask, so you also wrote that a small part of you had empathy for Josh. Can you expand more about that?
I just think that when you ask for help and you try to let it be known that, hey, I'm having a small problem or a big problem in a certain area, and it maybe gets overlooked. In my opinion, I don't think it was dealt with at all. I don't think it was healthy in any kind of way. And so in that moment, he was trying to say, hello, something is wrong here. Please help me. In my opinion, I'll have to put that, legally, I don't know what's going to happen. So for me, I just want to put that out there. But I do believe that he tried. I don't know how much. I wasn't there for that conversation, but my grandma did tell me that he did try. And so it's really hard looking back what has happened and how I don't know him at all. It's a very small part of me that just says, man, I wish you would have gotten the help that you deserved and needed back then.
And when's the last time that you've been in contact with your aunt and uncle? I know you talked a lot about boundaries and that's important, obviously.
Yeah, so it's been after the first scandal. I really haven't had much contact at all, haven't been over to the house at all. Just, focus on my life now. It is peaceful. It is good. Like the people that are surrounded my life, I've realized that family can be chosen.
No, definitely.
And it doesn't have to be DNA and a bloodline in order to make people family. And so I'm just surrounded by really, really good people now. And I'm so appreciative and just I'm living at peace now. Yes. I don't know if you can see, but
it's evident.
My face is I feel lighter than a feather. Really.
And I feel like writing this book must have been cathartic for you as well, 100%. Sharing the story. Looking towards this next chapter in your life, what are you hopeful for?
I'm hopeful that more people will start figuring out if they can be holy disruptors in their own life. They can set boundaries and they can look at toxic patterns and cycles that maybe they've believed and really question it and make sure that it's something that aligns with who they really are. I feel like so many people are silenced and judged and unfairly labeled and mistreated, and it's time to stand up. And so I don't know what's next. I don't know if it's a podcast. I don't know if it's a children's book. I don't know what my next chapter will be, but I really enjoyed writing, and who knows, there could be more.
I co-signed the podcast. I would listen. I feel like you need. Yes, I feel like you need that.
I feel like there's a lot more to say, and I have been silenced for a really long time, and so I would love to just let the mic flow for whoever wants to speak truth into other people's lives.
No, I think that'd be really interesting. I'm co-signing this one. You need a podcast.
Okay, I like it.
No, I also wanted to quickly ask about the title, Holy Disruptor. I know in the book you explain where that title came from, but for our viewers who haven't had the chance to read it yet, could you share about that?
Yeah, Holy Disruptor is such a special title. I met with my mentor a long time ago when I was really struggling and being like, why am I in this family? What is my purpose? What is my future? I feel like such a loser. I feel lower than dirt. Who am I? Because I'm being called crazy and I'm not. And that was really hard. And so I met with her at lunch and she was just like, Amy, she's like, I'm sorry that you're going through this. Clearly, that's not who you are. A holy disruptor is someone who confronts evil head on and isn't afraid to be brave in hard times. And someone who just looks at it for what it really is, And so she was like, just to remind yourself, you are a holy disruptor and don't ever forget it. And so I just kind of bottled that up and kind of kept that in the back of my mind. And I was like, okay, if I ever get a chance to write my story or tell in a big way, all the things that's happened, I would love that to be the title of a book. And to see it full circle. And now Holy Disruptor is what it is today. Is just, it's such a God wink.
Well, I think it's the perfect title. It's such a moving story. Your stories that you share, there's so many different stories within the book. I can't emphasize that enough, that it was so brave of you to open up and share this with the world. Now, I know we've talked about the big themes, but now we're going to condense it. Could you describe the book in 3 words?
Oh my goodness. Truthful, bold, and like just like it's like a roller coaster.
A roller coaster.
I am taking the readers and the listeners on a journey. I start from the beginning of my childhood, and even before that, all the way up until now, and just the things that I've learned and life lessons that hopefully can carry on into their own world and their own life and their own relationships.
Yeah, you went really deep. I feel like in ways that I wasn't even expecting with your backstory, within your family, yourself, the stories that viewers have no idea happened to you.
Right.
So I commend you for being so brave and for sharing this with with the world.
Thank you so much. It was the hardest project I've ever worked on, but I knew that like someone out here that's listening to this interview, it's going to help someone, you know, it's going to help them be like, oh, I've been gaslighted. I've been love bombed. I've had emotional abuse. What is this? And hopefully it could educate them, you know, and just open their eyes to like, this is not how life has to be.